now that it's December, I can say it is the holiday season. That means it's time for bright lights, parties, great sights, sounds, smells too. It's a lot of fun for most of us. However, it can be overwhelming for some people who live with sensory processing disorders and who live on the autism spectrum. So with us today is Donna Swanson, the co-founder of the nonprofit Focus Center for Autism and the Fresh Start School. She's here to tell us how we can try to keep the holidays more merry and bright for everybody. And glad to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I know we've already had such a great discussion before the cameras even came to us, too. So before we talk about what you do to help people, why don't you just sort of let people know about the relationship between sensory processing disorder and autism, sort of how they interplay?
Okay, I think that sensory processing disorder and autism interact very intensely, and that people don't always realize the sensory issues that our kids have. And you can either be sensory avoidant or sensory seeking, and it can change up. So some of the symptoms of looking at for sensory seeking are kids that jump down and have to jump down every stair or bump against the walls or get in your space. And then sensory avoidant are the kids that don't like the bright lights, they don't like the noise, they need quiet spaces, and it can change as the day goes on what their sensory needs are. And smells, you mentioned smells.
Smells too, yeah.
I had one girl that couldn't stand the smell of paper and newspaper, and she was in school, and they didn't understand that.
Yeah, well, that's a hard thing to wrap your head around because it's not something you can easily see. How much of this is the sensory problems? How much of it is also a deviance from the routine that sometimes is very comforting to people?
Okay, transition is huge, and you have to plan for the transitions. And one of the things that happens at this time of the year is that they start advertising for the holidays in October.
Yeah.
It's very confusing for our kids to go into they go into a store in October when it's supposed to be Halloween, and you're seeing Christmas stuff, and it gets them all overstimulated.
Yeah. So what can we do just to be more mindful of people who have these
Well,
problems?
I think that it's very important that your child has the ability that you know what your child's sensory needs are, that you don't put him in places and activities that are overwhelming for him, that you prepare him, I say him because it's more often in boys than girls, that you prepare the child for what the environment's going to be like, what they can anticipate, that you don't push kids to do things that they're not ready to do.
Okay.
Like one of our kids, the family was decorating the tree. He didn't want to do it. They tried 3 different ways to get him to do it, and then they accepted that this was not something he could do this year. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, and the smells, and if you're going, a lot of family encounters, if the family can understand that who you're visiting, that your child has certain issues, if there's a little room, a quiet space that they can go to, that you minimize the amount of transitions. And you always bring something that they like to eat because they can be quite picky.
Okay. Well, so those are a lot of great tips. Before we go, tell me about the Focus Center and the Fresh Start School. I guess you founded it, about 16 years ago?
Yes, in 2000 we became a nonprofit, and we have worked very hard to serve our population. It's been an uphill battle, and I have the most dedicated staff who are there for the kids 24/7. And we now have a school. It's called the Fresh Start School. We were approved last year as a special education program. It's a culmination of our clinical work. We're a clinical program, so we meet the clinical needs as well as the academic needs so that they can get back into their school systems.
I love looking at the pictures while you're talking
Yes.
to me about it, too. I also want to show all of you this that you brought, Donna. A nice little analogy for what you guys are and what you do, the little engine that could.
We are the little engine that could, and we need help, and we need help to keep doing it. We don't get any help from the state or, it's all us and the people that believe in us, and hopefully more people will help contribute to that because it's a gem of a program, and we want to keep helping our kids and families.
Real quick, when you say help, do you financial volunteers too?
Financial volunteers, but definitely financial.
Definitely financial. So there you go. FocusCenterForAutism.org. That's a great way they can go.
And a Facebook page, Focus Autism, and you can donate right on that page. come by and see us if you're interested. Our kids are absolutely amazing.
It's great work that you do. Like you
Thank
said,
you so
every one of
much.
them is different. They're all like snowflakes. Yeah.
Yeah, no two snowflakes are alike. None of our kids are alike. Makes it harder, but
Yes, but it makes it a lot more rewarding
Yes.
when you can help them out. Thank you.